Inside this damaged box from the USPS, I bought an old wheat cent and buffalo nickel collection. Let's go ahead and see what we got in it. Hey everyone, it's RobFindsTreasure and welcome back to the channel. I'm going to try to keep this intro short. Bottom line is I got a random email out of nowhere a few weeks ago from a guy who said that he had inherited his father's coin collection and wanted to know if I wanted to buy it because he had no use for it. And I said, well, shoot me some pictures, and he did. After getting the pictures, I saw there's a lot of books and a lot of rolls, and I said, the one thing you want to make sure of is in these books, check for these specific dates. And I gave him the key dates and the semi-key dates, and he said he did not see any of those dates, and he even looked through the rolls as far as the dates that they're marked on the rolls and didn't see anything truly valuable. Well, without seeing the collection in person and without knowing this person, I decided to just say, tell you what, you tell me a price that you think is fair, and if I think it's fair based on the pictures, I'll go ahead and pay you that. So he shot me a price, I agreed to it, and he packaged it up. Now, he's never packed up coins before, and I probably could have gave him some tips and pointers. The bottom line is, when I got this in, it was sealed, but it had damage right over here, and it had damage in this corner. And when I picked it up, some of the coins were falling out the hole. So I know for sure it has lost some coins between his house and my house. For sure we lost something, but I decided to go ahead and take pictures of it and then crack it all the way open and take a look inside. And this is what I saw. And I said, hey, just wanted you to know, this is what I got. It looks like it's mostly intact, but there probably could be some coins lost, and we definitely have some rolls broken open, which is kind of a bummer. I said it'd be a short intro. We're starting to talk too long. First things first, I'm going to off camera just pull all this stuff out of the box, line it up with wheat cents, buffalo nickels, whatever they are, and we'll go from there. Let me do that now. I'll bring it back unless I find something really cool before then. All right, just a quick update on what we got going on here. We got some Lincoln Cent albums, some of these older types. We got the 1909 to 1940s, the 1941 through 1959s, I believe. And then we also have some Jefferson Nickel albums. This says Buffalo Nickel. It feels pretty light. And then an Indian Head Cent collection. I don't know if that has anything in it yet, but we'll go through that. All of these are some loose rolls. I have all copper right here. And I say all copper. I haven't looked through the rolls, but just looking at what the dates on the ends are, they're copper coins. These are either labeled wheat cents or I can see wheat cents in them. Some of them are cracked open. Some of them I found a lid. This is a roll of steel cents, I guess. And then we also have a small roll of Indian Head cents here. This says Buffalo on it. And all of these were Buffalo nickel rolls that have been busted open that I kind of kept together. We actually have two casino rolls. Take a look at this. Two casino rolls from the Riviera Casino and Hotel. So that'll be kind of fun to go through those, maybe on another video. And then all of these are unlabeled rolls. One was split open and it got more split open when I set it down. And it looks like it's mixed dates, like maybe from the early 80s or mid 80s these rolls are from. I don't know if they've been searched or not. And then we've got other rolls that don't have writing, but this one is intact and it did. And it said there's 44 cents all Canadians in there, so put that to the side. In here is all the stuff that has been broken out of tubes or broken out of rolls that split open, as you can see. And so I think what I'm going to have to do is go through here. I see Canadians, I see buffalo nickels, I see wheat cents, I see copper coins. So yeah, I've got to go through all this now and get them segregated by wheat cents in a jar, copper in a jar, and buffalo nickels in a jar to the side. And then we also have these little enveloped ones that look like they've been split open too. And they probably had writing from the pictures I remember they did. And yeah, they had dates on them. And I think that's hard to read, but I think it said 1930 or 1950. And the ones that are intact, we'll have to see. Philippine 1 cent penny. I don't know. It's got something in there though. So all the envelope stuff I'll put to the side as well if it's intact. And hopefully I'll be back with another update of where we're at. 1 hour later. Welcome back. It's been about an hour, maybe hour and a half, and we've got everything at least set up to actually start looking through now. I'll tell you, the one busted roll of these looks like it had some copper, which I already put into the copper bin here, as well as some non-copper stuff in pretty nice shape from the mid-80s. I took a peek at one of the enders on these rolls as well. It looks like we have maybe just some mid to early 80s rolls of coins here to search. That'll probably be a coin roll hunt. Maybe I'll just add all of these rolls to one of my penny hunts. We'll have to see because there's a lot to go through. These are all the unscathed, to an extent, envelopes that have paper clips on the end and some writing. 1936, there's probably some 36s in here and things like that. 37, 46S, 1942S maybe, 1943. So yeah, these are mostly intact, or if they were beat up, they still had coins in them. So I put them all in that stack right there. We had 2 partial rolls of Canadians plus some loose ones in the bottom of the box. Again, that's all the copper. I went ahead and completed another copper roll, this one right here. And again, that's all that right there. All the wheat cents, including the steel cents. These are all the loose wheat cents that were in the bottom. All of the wheat cent albums. That's the Indian head cent book, the loose Indian heads that were in the roll, Buffalo nickel album, and the Buffalo nickel rolls right there. Now that we've got it all set up, I'll tell you, I went ahead and took a peek in the Indian head cent album to make sure we didn't have any truly valuable goodies in here. And as expected, really there's nothing prior to 1888. We're missing all the tough dates. They're in pretty rough shape. We have a beat up 1883 and a corroded 1860, but wanted to make sure there's nothing spectacular in here. There is not. And I went ahead and ran through that little Indian head cent roll. It looks like it's just the duplicates of the ones in here with some tough corroded ones. The Buffalo nickel album is partial as well. Only 1 coin back there. And then the 20s, there's a few. And then, of course, the 30s, more than a few. And I double-checked the 37 Denver. It is not the 3-legged. That's really the only major valuable one that would be in there other than the 35P DDR. And it wasn't that. So I checked those 2. Nothing special on those. Pretty slick. I don't know why he has, I guess there's a die rotation on a few of these maybe. I don't know, but we'll have to check that later more specifically. And we got a lot of Buffaloes to go through, and I would imagine there's got to be some Buffaloes in here that actually would be able to be plugged in here unless there's just a bunch of duplicates from the 30s. And then we had those 2 casino rolls we'll get to. That's probably another video on its own. And a whole bunch of Canadians like I talked about. So if you're wondering about the books, I already saw the pictures of these books from him. Most of them are missing all of the tough dates. Let's just face it. This is just a whole bunch of the same. Like a lot of the same slots are filled in both albums. And yeah, missing a lot of the good coins. Just a lot of loose stuff that I'll look for any varieties, of course, like the 41 DDOs and the over mint marks, things like that. From 1941 and on, the books are pretty filled up. But again, I mean, all the coins are in rough shape. I'll have to see which one was book 1 for the series or book 6. You know, you never know which one was the best one, but they appear to be in decent shape. That's actually a pretty nice 1943 steel cent. And I'll double check all of these for varieties off camera as well. And if you're wondering about the nickel albums, I've ran through them from the 1938 to 61 Jefferson albums. Only 3 silver coins in all the books, and there is 0 key dates in any of them. All the key dates are missing, and not one 1950 Denver in any of them as well, because if there was in there, maybe I could have closed the series out. Just kidding, but you never know. So, what do I do now? I think this video would be super long if we made it a 1-part video, but I don't want to drag it out to several parts. I think for today, what we're really just going to focus on is cleaning up the Indian head cents and putting them in my collection, because there's really not going to keep this book, and there's not enough in that book to sell it. And then I'm going to go through the Buffaloes today. I already got the nickel mat out because that's kind of what I was thinking. We'll go through the Indian head cents. We'll go through the Buffalo nickels, all this other stuff, and we'll probably do the Canadians as well. And all this other stuff we'll save for part 2, which would be the copper hunt and the wheat cent hunt. Hopefully that makes sense. Already been a long video. This is a 4-minute clip on its own. So yeah, let me go ahead now, get this cleaned up, and we'll go ahead and go through these goodies, and I'll bring you back with some findings, or at the end of them with a recap. I want to apologize. For some reason, I have a corroded file. I had a separate video that is not here, and I'm doing this after I edited it. I didn't show you guys the 20 different Indian head cents we got. You saw the album. I added a couple for my collection, so that's what that is. And then we had a ton of Canadians, a lot of 1940 through 1952 King George V. I was able to add a few of these to my Canadian Small Sense album for the Hunt and Fill series. And then we had quite a few 1953s through 1964s, none of which could be added to my album. No 53 shoulder folds or any varieties in these that I could find. But again, I lost the clip that had the Canadian Small Sense and the Indian Small Sense or the Indian Head Sense video in it. So I apologize for that. Now that we've got that done, I'm finishing up the edit, and let me get you back to where we left off in the hunt. All right, I am back, man. That took a while. I went through all the Jefferson albums, put the Jefferson albums away, pulled all the Nickels out of them, took out the semi-key date and the key dates, and put those into rolls. These are all of the regular ones. I haven't checked for any varieties yet. Got to do that. And we had 5 silver wartime Nickels, nothing special there. Out of the Indian head pennies, a lot of them were duplicates. I was able to get 20 different ones to make a subset. I think that was the ones from the books, although I went through mine and made a better set. Still got the casino rolls. I was rolling up some of the Buffalo Nickels. Looks like some of the busted rolls were all full years of Philadelphia minted ones. 37s, 2 36s, and a 35. Up here, we got 38D, 37 P&D, 36 PD&S, 35 PD&S, 34 P&D. No 31 or 30S, obviously. We got a 30P, 29 P&D, 28, 27, 26, 25 Ps and 1S, 24s, 23s, obviously no 21s this time. And then I knocked them down, but we have a couple of 1920s and a 20D, as well as a really slick, might have been nickedated 1917 Philly. And then a blank one, only one dateless Buffalo in the entire lot. I'll add that to my dateless Buffaloes that I still need to go ahead and nickadate down the road. That's what we got so far. I'm going to make an album out of these after I go through mine as well. I got to roll all these back up and put them away. I'll tell you, a lot of the 35, 36, and 37s looked pretty nice overall, and definitely pleased with their condition, because most of the time these do not look as good as they look. So I'll definitely take them. I put the better ones in the rolls. I checked all the 35 Phillies for the DDR, none. Checked all the 37Ds and 36Ds for the 3.5 and 3-legged varieties. Of course, none of those. So haven't checked for the 2 feathers, although we don't have a lot of S-minted ones prior to 1930. So probably none of those as well, but I'll double check. And yeah, kind of rough Buffalo lot other than the full rolls that we got. And I believe the full rolls are the ones that were busted open. So pretty cool overall, but let me get an album put together and I'll come back with a recap of the Buffaloes. All right, we are going to call it here. I'm going to cover what I got in the Buffalo Nickels, but I am beat. It has been several hours. I haven't even touched the wheats or the memorial backs yet, or those 2 rolls down there. Either way, what we got here is a Buffalo Nickel album. I substituted some of my coins that I have for my rolls just to go ahead and make it more of a complete album. Yeah, there's a lot of the key dates missing, but pretty good overall set. I actually had a 30S I could add to it. So we're only missing the 31S on the back page. Of course, we're missing a lot of the S mints, 27S, 26S. We're missing the 26 and 25D, the 24 DNS, the 21S, 19 DNS, 18 DNS, 17 DNS. Missing the 16D, and then everything from 1915 to 1913 other than a non-nickedated, no date, but we know because it has a raised mound 1913 Philly. So that's what we got. Kind of a fun little collector lot there. Probably offer that up on the next auction, as well as this 20 times different Indian head scent set. Outside of that, stay tuned for part 2. I'm thinking part 2 will probably be all of the wheat scents. If I can squeeze in the memorial backs, I'll do that as well. But that might be a whole hunt on its own, because there are a lot of 70s, 80s, and 60s, and even 1959 memorial backs in there as I was rolling them up, including some BU stuff. So be nice to get a few varieties in there if we can. We'll have to see if I can squeeze all that in the next video. So stay tuned. I'll try to show more of the coin hunting in the next part if I can. Hopefully, despite not showing a lot of that and talking a lot, you guys still had fun going through this with me. If you did, I certainly would appreciate that thumbs up. And as always, everyone, happy hunting, and thanks for watching.